Hi, my name is Chris Syro. In this REST API feature video, I will show you how to configure the Jetty web server. To handle the HTTP requests for the REST API, the AIR server uses an embedded web server named Jetty. Unlike SOAP web services, where the HTTP requests go to the mid-tier and are then routed to the AIR server, REST API calls go directly to the AIR server. I'll show you how to configure the Jetty web server. First, by going into the Jetty etc directory to show its configuration files. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to focus on the ports used by Jetty and how to configure HTTPS. Both of those are done by editing the Jetty selector.xml file. So let's open it in a text editor. We have pre-configured the Jetty web server to use HTTPS, and that's what this connector here is for. Like many Java applications, Jetty uses a Keystore file to hold its public-private key pair for encryption at this location. The Keystore is password protected, and here you can tell Jetty the password so it can open that Keystore file. You can type the password in plain text here, but I recommend Jetty's password obfuscation tool instead, which I'll show later. And then down here we have the port that it's using, 8443, but of course you can change that. We want a secure connection for the REST API to protect the client's authentication information. A client has to send a username and password to get a token and send that token on each request. An HTTPS connection allows us to keep that secure from snooping to a man-in-the-middle attack. You may decide that instead of having the Jetty web server in AIR server handle the HTTPS itself, you might put it behind a reverse proxy and let it handle HTTPS, and then just have plain HTTP requests from the proxy to the AIR server. You can comment out this HTTPS connector and uncomment this one here below. Just a regular HTTP connector. But it has the forwarded property set to true. That way we can handle things like x-forwarded headers. For instance, recording the real client's IP address in the API log. And here's where you would set the port for this HTTP connector. But let's go back to the HTTPS connector and create this Keystore file. Back in the Jetty etc directory, I'm going to create the Keystore file here. So I'm going to shift right click, and now I'm going to use the key tool to generate a self-signed certificate. Let's say I'm just setting this AIR server up for testing purposes. I'm going to go ahead and just generate a self-signed certificate. If you're deploying this in production, you're probably going to want to import a certificate that has been signed by either a public certificate authority or maybe just an internal corporate certificate authority. But again, we'll just go with a self-signed cert for now. So key tool, gen key. We use the RSA key algorithm and save it as with the Jetty alias so that the Jetty web server can find it, and save it in the Keystore file. I'm going to set a password and type it in again and fill in the information here. And I'll just use the same password there for Jetty. And now I have my Keystore file. To obfuscate the password, I'm going to run a Java command using a class that Jetty ships with. We're going to go to the lib start level 1 directory. Open a command window here. I'm going to cheat a bit and paste it because it's kind of a long command, but it's using a class from this Jetty util jar file. It takes 2 arguments, the first being a username, which doesn't matter for this, and the password. And this is what I use to encrypt. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this OBF line, and we'll put that in the Jetty selector file. And now we're back in the Jetty selector file. I'm going to go ahead and paste that obfuscated password in these 3 locations. And now I can save it. And I've got my Jetty configured for HTTPS using a self-signed certificate. I hope this has helped you configure your Jetty web server, and thanks for watching.